Okay, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Tiffany Bennett from Olsen Salt.
So I'll just get you to say it again.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Bennett from Olsen Salt.
And you're a salt farmer.
Yes, we're a family-owned business. I'm not an Olsen, but I've known the family for longer than I haven't known the family. We produce salt here in Queensland, in Port Alma near Rockhampton, and in the Eyre Peninsula, a little place called Whyalla.
How do you farm salt?
We farm it by solar evaporation. It's actually one of the most sustainable farming practices in the world. The salt water comes in. We then hold the salt. We hold the water in big pans, and then we add sun, we add wind. The salt falls out. We have salt just like that.
And how do you tell if it's good salt?
Well, first of all, tasting. But secondly, like anything, it depends on your environment, like any farmer. You must have a beautiful, pristine environment. We have bird life, wildlife, salt bush. It is an amazing, alive, beautiful environment where we farm our salt.
Gee, you must be worried about any marine sort of pollution.
Yeah, well, we do. We check the turbosity of the water.
The what?
The turbosity of the water. So the water is checked every couple of hours, and what we're looking for is if there's any kind of storm or anything coming in. We want to know if there's it's open channel water, if there's any kind of motion in the water, or if there's any storms or anything coming, we can actually shut the gates so no water enters the salt farm at all.
And okay, you have the water there, and how long does it take to evaporate?
It can take anywhere from 9 months to 3 years. Depends, you need sunshine and you need wind to make salt because it's a natural process.
And so you produce a whole range of different salts. You've got fine salt, raw salt, flake salt.
That's right. So these salts here are macrobiotic sea salt, macrobiotic meaning minimal intervention. We produce that here in Queensland. And we also have our sea salt flakes, which we produce in Whyalla.
Okay, now people say you've got to get salt from the Himalayas. What's the difference between your salt and salt from the Himalayas?
Salt always started in the ocean somewhere. So your Himalayan sea salt are ancient oceans that were once above ground that are now underground, and they're being mined. They're mining that salt.
What's the difference between iodised and non-iodised salt?
Okay, well, iodized can be added to salt.
And so should I be eating iodised salt or not?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I personally don't, but our macrobiotic salt does have a lot of sea minerals in it, and it does have naturally occurring iodine in the salt. We don't add anything additional to our salt.
Flying into Adelaide, I've seen the salt, salt lying there, so I know where you are, but it's fantastic to meet a salt farmer. Thank you very much.
So much. It's been my pleasure, and I'm going to give you some salt to take away so you can get all salty.
Okay. Should I be using salt though?
Absolutely. Salt is in your molecular structure. I'm also a bit of a scientist as well too. Yeah, and we use salt. Every single muscle, every single neuron uses sodium chloride. Now, I have a clean diet. I don't eat any processed food, so I have to add salt back in my diet. We're actually completely paddock to plate. Most of your listeners might know us as being Olsen salt blocks for cattle. That's actually what we do. So all animals need salt. That's why we provide them salt, because they're in a contained area. They can't forage salt themselves. We need salt, but salt is hidden in so many of the foods that we buy that has been produced. So sometimes we get too much salt. But when you have a clean diet, not adding any processed food in, you need to add salt back into your diet.
Okay, can I have some salt? I don't use